2.4. Same thing. I did the 2.5 video before I did this one. So hopefully my voice isn't as bad as it is in the 2.5 video. So just forgive it. It's Phil Talkie season. All right. So one of the things you guys have to remember as we're working through logs, you can always rewrite a log in exponential form. And the properties are going to be very similar between the two things. And just like when we were dealing with exponential, if they had the same base, you could cancel them and work with just their exponents. It's very similar with logs. If I have a log that equals a log with the same base, I can ignore the logs and I'm left with whatever value is with the log. So as you guys are working through your ready, that's what we're going to be using. And this will also have a place on your foldable. So if you guys have your foldable with you, you might want to get that out because then you can add any extra notes to your foldable so you're ready for reviewing and assessments. Honors, sorry, you don't get to use it on your assessment, but you want this to be as detailed as possible, both groups, because this is a great study tool. Your foldable is something that will help you study because it's everything that we have gone over. So I want to briefly touch on A and B here in the examples. A should be review. You write these with the same base. Then you can ignore your bases and you're left with x equals 4. With the log, before you can cancel the logs, and this is where I've had students struggle with this in the past, they just see the logs and they immediately want to cancel things out. Don't. You have to get the logs on on opposite sides. So you move a log just like you would any other value or variable. Since it's being subtracted, I add it to both sides. So now I have log base 2 of x equals log base 2 of 5, which is what is over here. Once I have my logs on opposite sides of the equal sign, you can cancel them, and I can only cancel because they have the same base. If this 2 was not the same, I could not cancel them. Once I cancel the logs, I am left with what the main part of the log is, the x and the 5. So x equals 5. I'm going to do one problem. Well, I'll get you started from one problem on each section. Then you guys will be able to finish them. So I'm going to help you with number 3. Don't forget on 2, you want to flip your fraction. You want to take the reciprocal. Just don't forget when you flip a fraction, you must put a negative exponent. Don't overthink that one. Please don't overthink it. So here on number 3, yes, I see a fraction, but my answer is also a fraction. So that does not mean my exponent is negative like in number 2. Number 2, I had a fraction, then I had a whole number. So my exponent did have to be negative in order to flip my fraction. But on number 3, don't overthink this. I can distribute my x. Whoops, just kidding. I didn't want to write 3 again. I can distribute my x to that fraction, so I have 3 to the x and 4 to the x. So the question is, 3 to the what is 27, and 4 to the what is 64. And since they are both x, it must be the same value. So you are finding what value, what x, will give me 27 and 64. So I'm not going to finish. I just started you on that one, but you should be able to finish from there. All right, let's do number 6. I see a log minus a log, so I want to add the log to the other side. So it's going to cancel here. So I have log base 2 of x plus 2 equals log base 2 of 9x. Since my logs have the same base and they're on opposite sides, I can ignore them. And I am now left with x plus 2 equals 9x. Subtract x. 2 equals 8x. Divide by 8. And x equals 1/4. So I simplified the 2 8s. It's pretty simple stuff, guys. Once you get your logs to cancel, you're just dealing with a basic equation. So if you're struggling, hopefully the goal is that you get to this point because you should already know the rest of it. You should know how to solve an equation. But now 6 is done for you, and you only have 2 more to go back through and do. You know, it might be helpful as you guys are watching the videos, instead of watching all of the video at once. As I do number 3, pause it and do 1, 2, and finish 3. As I did 6, now pause it, go back and do 4 and 5. Now I'm going to do, I'll do number 9, since I'm just doing that whole column. As I finish 9, pause it, go back and do 7 and 8 while it's fresh in your head. So number 9, I have 2 logs, but I cannot cancel them the way they are. A lot of times we think, oh, I have division, I can just automatically cancel my logs. I need you guys to think about cross multiplication. I could write a 1 underneath the 1, and now I can cross multiply, which isn't going to change anything. I can actually just set my logs equal to each other. So I'm going to have log of 5 to the x minus 2 will equal the log of 625. Now, my logs don't have a base, but they do. They're both 10. So now I can ignore that. Do you need to write the 10 in there? No, you don't need to write the 10. You can just recognize that they're going to cancel. So now I have 5 to the x minus 2, and I'll keep that in parentheses, equals 625. Now I can't do anything with this right now. My next step is going to be to write these with the same base. You will not have to do this on 7 and 8 because 7 and 8 do not have exponents. Those will be very simple. Once you get the logs to cancel, it's going to be like number 6. But here you have an exponent. So it's 5 to the what? Whoa, not a 5. It's 5 to the what is 625. So I'm going to use my calculator and I'm going to try 5 to the 6th. Nope. I'm going to try 5 to the 5th. Nope. I'm going to try 5 to the 4th. Hey, look, it's 625. So it's 5 to the 4th. Now that my bases are the same, I could cancel them, and I am left with x minus 2 equals 4, so x equals 6. Hopefully that one makes sense. It's something that I do expect you to be able to do, you guys. We have to be able to write numbers with the same base. And if you don't see it right away, use your calculator. I just did. I started with a big number and then I just worked my way down. I wasn't exactly sure what it was. So don't be afraid to use your calculator, please. Now you can go back and finish the ready. Okay, the set. No calculator. I want to make that very, very clear. You are not to use a calculator here. I am just going to get you started with these. This is a lot like what we did in our task. So I really am hoping that you guys don't need a whole lot. I want to rewrite my logs using these three values, 16, 5, and 8. But we have also gone over other properties of logs, and I can use those numbers too. For example, log of 1. I know that the log of 1 equals 0. Anything to the 0 power is 1. So that's on your foldable. So I could use a 1, and once I see a log of 1, I can put 0. So hopefully that's all we're going to need. If anything else comes up, then we will go ahead and rewrite them differently. But we'll see what happens. Maybe we won't need anything else for these 5. You're using your properties of logs. Don't forget, you have the product property, which you change to addition. And then you have the quotient property, which changes to subtraction. So that's how I want to write these. Now, in 10, I'm going to use the quotient property. So I would rewrite this as log of 5 minus the log of 8. Oh, look, 5 and 8. Now I can plug in those values and I can subtract. You should not need a calculator for that. In 11, I don't see a fraction, but I can rewrite 25. This is 5 times 5. Oh, look, it's now a product. So I can rewrite this as addition. So this is the log of 5 plus the log of 5. Now you guys can plug in. And the only other one I am going to help you guys on right now is the 1/2. This one might be a little bit tricky for you guys. Don't let it be tricky. It's really not that bad. Use the numbers that you see here. Don't write this yet. If I separate this, it's log of 1 minus the log of 2. I don't know the log of 2 without using my calculator, and it says I cannot use a calculator. Do not cheat. If you guys use a calculator on this, I will know, because you will not be able to do these ones on your test. So try and do this without a calculator. I know this is 0, but I don't know what this one is. So that was not the way to do this. But I can rewrite 1/2. 1/2 is 8/16. Now I'm using numbers that they gave me. So this is the log of 8 minus the log of 16. So now you guys should be able to go through and finish that. You're going to do the exact same thing on these ones here. Please don't overthink these. I can actually add in other things for this group of problems. If I have a log base 3 of 3, that will equal 1. If I have a log base 3 of 1, that will equal 0. So I'm using other properties of logs and identities of logs. So I'm going to leave you for those ones, but don't forget, sometimes you need to rewrite them. But I just gave you 2 other numbers you can use: 2, 5, 3, and 1. That's how you can rewrite all of these here. So don't be afraid of them. Sometimes you're going to have to break them down a little bit more than what you're seeing. For example, 16, I would write this as 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. So that would give me log 2 plus log 2 plus log 2 plus log 2. Or, actually, let me go ahead and work on this one for you really quick. I can rewrite this as 2 to the 4th. There's 4 2's. Now I can use the power property. I could bring the 4 to the front, and this is actually going to end up equaling 4 times. Now what's the log base 3 of 2? 0.6. So now you can finish that. So you might need to use that on some of these. Don't forget, you can rewrite numbers with a different base and then move their exponent to the front. That takes care of this set. It will show me that you guys know the properties, so please, 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 I'm begging you, don't use a calculator. It is so easy. Now, you are rewarded for not using a calculator in the set because now you get to use one in the Go. So make sure you have a calculator. I'm only going to do the first one with you. These are super simple. It says, use your calculator and the definition of log of x. Recall the base is 10 to find the value of x. So I'm going to rewrite this with a base 10. Once I get to this point, I am going to rewrite this in exponential form. So don't forget that's b to the y equals x. You don't even need to know that. It's just 10 to the negative 3 equals x. So now I'm going to use my calculator. So if you don't rewrite this in exponential, you will not be able to do these. So I'm going to go 10 caret negative 3 and x equals 0.001. Don't overthink these. That's how simple these ones are. So that concludes your 2.4 homework. Make sure you're working on them. Circle the ones that you don't get. And make sure you're checking your answers. Please check your answers. All right, that wraps that up. See you guys tomorrow.